Hey, bud, what you think, man? Let me know some things about what can we expect from you?
Fireworks.
Fireworks. You ready, bud?
That's the fight that everybody want to see. Yeah. I want to do it.
Do you respect him as like when he's like, I got a couple fights left, I'm at the end, I'm only trying to get mega fights, so...
I understand.
Terence Crawford surprised fans by responding to Jaron Ennis's challenge for a fight at super middleweight with all his belts on the line. This reaction caught everyone off guard, as Crawford had never shown interest in entertaining talks about facing Ennis before.
Like I said before, you know, that's my obligation in the contract, and I gotta honor that if, you know, that's the next move for me and my career.
During an interview while gearing up for his next bout, Ennis revealed that he'd be open to stepping into the super middleweight division if that's what it took to secure a title shot against Crawford. He even mentioned being ready for a potential showdown in 2026. Interestingly, this mirrors Crawford's own path, moving up from welterweight, taking one fight at 154, and then quickly making the jump straight into the super middleweight ranks.
Terence Crawford against Jaron Ennis, for me, is the best fight in American boxing. But it needs to be a payday for Crawford that would get him interested, because Crawford knows how good Boots is. And I'm not saying that Crawford thinks he's going to lose to Boots, but he knows that is a real fight. But for me, Boots is the new Crawford.
Not long after, Terence Crawford held a victory parade in his hometown of Omaha. When asked about Jaron Ennis's challenge, Crawford made his stance clear. He's willing to take the fight. He even sent a direct message to Ennis saying if the fight is truly what he wants, then send the contract. Crawford added that he has no problem making it happen at 168. Ennis's promoter, Eddie Hearn, later backed the idea, calling it the best fight boxing could offer right now.
You know, without him, you know, really wanting to fight and putting forth the effort into doing what he can do along with me to get this fight done, we wouldn't be fighting. So it's only right that I give him that same, you know,
point and I need. So after I do my thing, you know, Saturday night and be victorious, you know, I feel like it's only big name fights from here on out, you know, only main event headlines and pay-per-view headline, pay-per-view fighting. So that's my goal.
Matchroom Boxing's Eddie Hearn confirmed that discussions are underway for Terence Crawford to potentially face former unified welterweight champion Jaron "Boots" Ennis, who is preparing for his 154-pound debut on October 11th against Wismal Lima. Speaking to reporters on Wednesday, Hearn described Crawford versus Ennis as the biggest fight in American boxing. He added that it will take the right payday to lure Crawford in, since Crawford understands how dangerous Ennis is. I'm not suggesting Crawford believes he'd lose, Hearn explained, but he knows this would be a serious challenge. To me, Boots is the new Crawford. It's just about getting him the right fights to prove his greatness.
Fight that makes a whole lot of sense, and a fight that stylistically would be, oh my goodness, is a fight between Terence Crawford and Jaron "Boots" Ennis.
I think that's going backwards for Terence.
To that point, Jaron doesn't have the kind of accolades. He doesn't sell to the mass and all these. So this fight was perfect timing for both these guys.
At Crawford's post-fight press conference, the idea of facing Ennis in the future was raised. The 5-division champion initially dismissed the matchup, explaining he wouldn't go back down to junior middleweight. For the fight to happen, Ennis would need to meet him at a different weight. Eddie Hearn later weighed in, saying the real challenge lies in securing a payday big enough to interest Crawford. "You're dealing with a different kind of fighter in Terence Crawford," Hearn noted. "His boxing IQ is on another level, and to compete with him you need both experience and a complete skill set. That's exactly why I think the Boots fight makes so much sense."
In a roller coaster, but, you know, we made it to the top. No matter how we made it, you know, and, you know, it's definitely a test to say that anything is possible if you know, work hard at it and you believe in yourself and you have the faith.
Ennis had previously been the IBF's mandatory challenger at 147 for Crawford, but after Crawford moved up to 154 and defeated Israel Madrimov for the WBA title, Ennis was elevated from interim to full champion. He later added both the ring and WBA belts to his collection after stopping Imantas Stanionis in April. While preparing for his fight with Lima, Ennis also gained valuable experience as a sparring partner for Canelo Alvarez during Alvarez's preparations to face Crawford.
Yeah. But don't lie or kept to the net and make it seem like I had the opportunity to fight you and I didn't. I never did. You know what I'm saying? And then that one time that I did, we said they called and we said we never heard nothing else back about it. So
right.
I mean, I respect it though. I mean, get your money. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing. But don't be capping on the net.
Despite the intense training, it wasn't enough for Canelo Alvarez to rise to the challenge. After the loss, the Mexican superstar admitted that his body had let him down. Eddie Hearn praised Crawford's performance, calling it spectacular. "I feel for Canelo," Hearn said, "but I'm glad Crawford finally has the chance to prove his greatness." His resume, while strong, never fully reflected how good he really is. To perform like that at 38 years old is simply remarkable.
Crawford-Canelo fight. Were you surprised by the outcome?
It's boxing, anything happen.
No doubt. My other question for you is, with this win, everybody said Crawford elevated his status. He's the GOAT. Do you think this win puts him on Mount Rushmore or makes him a GOAT in boxing?
Everybody got their own opinion, so.
Many believe this could be the perfect moment for Crawford to retire on top, but others argue he still has more history to make. Some even suggest he could drop back down and capture a world title at 160, which would make him a 6th division champion. As for Canelo, he went into the fight determined to win, but Crawford simply didn't allow it. More than 70,000 fans packed Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, while over 41 million tuned in on Netflix to witness Crawford secure a clear, though competitive, victory over Alvarez.
Brooks Park, South Philly.
Yeah.
All right, so they'll kill me if I don't ask you, right?
What?
Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford wins unanimous decision victory.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on the fight?
I was trying to stay up. It was getting too late, yo. It was like, I think by the time they came on, it was probably 1 o'clock or something like that.
It was 1 and some change.
I trained.
Among the millions watching was Jaron Ennis, the 28-year-old Philadelphia native who has repeatedly called out Crawford. Often compared to the future Hall of Famer himself, Ennis had even joined Canelo's camp weeks earlier as a sparring partner. That move sparked criticism when he publicly picked Canelo to beat Crawford. But despite the backlash and plenty of opinions from boxing insiders, Ennis didn't hold back on his response.
We got a couple more days and y'all gonna see Canelo fighting Crawford. So I ain't got no comment on who gonna win the fight, you dig? If Crawford do what he's supposed to do, he got an option. If he don't beat Canelo. Simple as that.
When asked about his experience training with Canelo, only the second time he'd prepared for a fight outside of Philadelphia, Ennis described it as nothing but positive. "It was fun," he said. "Canelo's got nearly 70 fights, so just being in there with him was a great experience. I enjoyed sparring, fishing, and just spending time with my brother while I was out there. I'm moving up in weight, so I wanted to try something different, and I loved it." When pressed on whether he enjoyed the camp, Ennis added, "Of course. Anytime you get to share the ring with someone like Canelo, a Hall of Famer, a legend, and one of the faces of boxing, it's a great experience." The sparring was excellent, and I loved every bit of it.
A guy of that caliber?
Yeah, why not? Why not you be able to share the ring with Canelo and like I said, being there with a Hall of Famer, a legend, and face of, kind of like the face of boxing, why not?
Reflecting on how his sparring sessions with Canelo quickly went viral, Ennis admitted he wasn't surprised. "I knew it was going to blow up the moment we posted that picture," he said. "Stuff like that always gets people talking, and honestly, it just makes the fight even more interesting because fans want to tune in even more. As for the backlash, I don't really care. I went out there for myself, to kick off my first 2 weeks of camp at Elevation and get the experience I wanted. That was for me, not for anybody else."
I think Crawford's going to get the job done. I am officially picking Crawford to win this fight. It is still 50-50, but obviously...
He says that till he goes to Canelo.
I'm obviously going to say that this is a 60-40 fight, and I have Crawford winning this fight. Crawford's going to win this fight doing something that nobody's done to Canelo.
It's going to help Canelo. He's sparring against a great fighter, world champion in Ennis, and like I said before, iron sharpens iron. And maybe it will. But on the other side, it was interesting to hear your side of whether it's the overtraining or I think more the mental side. What if Boots is getting the best of him? How does that affect Canelo going into this fight? Why would you want to even put that doubt in your fighter's head going into such a big...
Legendary boxing analyst Teddy Atlas, however, warned that bringing Jaron Boots Ennis into camp might backfire on Canelo Alvarez. Atlas suggested that sparring with a fighter of Ennis's caliber could end up draining Alvarez ahead of his September 13th showdown.
He's not me.
Yeah.
You know, as much as a lot of people, you know, say we have similarities and, you know, we switch a lot and we fight a lot. He's not me, you know, and I'm not him. So.
Yeah. Tim had said comparison that like he's like a Chrysler 300.
With preparations in full swing on both sides, the spotlight turned to Alvarez's camp, particularly his choice of sparring partner. Canelo had brought in Jaron Boots Ennis, aiming to sharpen himself against an elite-level fighter ahead of his clash with Crawford. But while the decision was made to ensure he was fully prepared, not everyone agreed it was the right move.
And now, I think Boots brought the best out of Canelo. I don't know how many rounds they may have sparred, if it's true, but if it is true, I'm assuming that Boots may have brought the best out of Canelo Alvarez in that sparring. Showed him different looks, the switch hitting. I'm pretty sure they probably wanted Boots to, you know, emulate Crawford or just to be who he is.
Good. My opinion is I like who I like. You know, I like Roy Jones, Floyd Mayweather, Pernell Whitaker.
Who do you think?
I'm liking Sugar Ray Leonard. I've been watching a little bit of Sugar Ray Leonard and James Tony. So they my top like guys that I've been watching. You know.
Teddy Atlas cautioned against Canelo pushing too hard in sparring, saying, "I don't want him leaving it all in the gym. With someone who's already had over 65 fights, you don't want him going to war every day." Atlas explained he would only use intense sessions sparingly, especially against a fighter as sharp as Ennis. His concern was that age and mileage might be catching up to Alvarez. While Crawford is technically older, Canelo has logged far more wear and tear in the ring. Adding tough sparring rounds with Ennis, Atlas warned, could take even more out of him, and the real question is whether fatigue might show once fight night arrives.
I think that I would want too many highly, put it this way, I'll get right to the point. I wouldn't want wars with my guy who's been in 65 fights or 60 whatever, and is at that, 34 years.
Never. This is crazy, Chester. I just didn't want to see Chester. I didn't want to see Chester. You got a Team Crawford shirt on, hoodie on, but you going against me? You going against me? What'd he say, Red?
I said don't get spilled.
No. What'd he say?
He said you just want to see him lose.
Thank you.
Even with the added preparation, Alvarez had no real solutions as Crawford boxed the full 12 rounds from the southpaw stance. And while facing Crawford remains his ultimate goal, Jaron Ennis had no problem giving him credit for the performance. It was a good win, Ennis told YSM Sports Media. He accomplished something historic. Great win for him. Still, after briefly enjoying the fight as a fan, Ennis quickly shifted focus back to his own career. The former unified welterweight champion has since vacated his ring, WBA, and WBC titles, fully committing to reclaiming championship glory in the 154-pound division.
I trained twice that day. I was like, I'm gonna just try to stay up. And the fight before that was...
And Billy Martinez.
I was watching like 1 or 2 rounds of that. They was going at it. Though I wanted to fall asleep. I'm like, yo, I can't stay up no longer. I just wanted to fall asleep. But that was a great one for Crawford. Go.
Ennis's first test at his new weight will come on October 11th, when he steps into the ring against Wissam Lima at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. With the chance to make a big statement and pick up a secondary belt, Ennis is eager to deliver. "I'm feeling great," he said. "The time is almost here. I'm ready to put on a show. Expect a dominant performance and a knockout in style."
And on Thursday and Friday, when I saw Canelo in the vest, I was like, nah. I was like, no, he's gonna pull it off here. And it was an amazing performance by Terence Crawford. Yeah, I'm gutted for Canelo, but I'm actually pleased that Crawford is getting the opportunity to show how great he is, because his resume hasn't really allowed that. Don't get me wrong, he's got...
On the eve of his 38th birthday, Terence "Bud" Crawford wasn't just celebrated, he was immortalized. A hometown parade drew nearly 20,000 fans, turning the streets into a wave of blue and gold with Crawford as the centerpiece of a spectacle few fighters ever experience. Seated on a throne carried by a semi-truck, he lifted his hand to the roaring crowd. Amid the cheers and flashing cameras, he later summed it up in a short but powerful message on social media. 6 words that spoke to his roots, his city, and a legacy bigger than any single fight. His victory over Canelo Alvarez in Las Vegas had already shaken the boxing world. But the homecoming elevated it to an entirely different level. In Nebraska, thousands of families lined the streets, creating the atmosphere of a hero's coronation. After all, few fighters in history can claim to be undisputed champions across multiple weight divisions. Yet beneath the celebration was a sense of finality. Now 38, many wonder if the Canelo fight might have been Crawford's last. For his part, Crawford has hinted that his career has always been about legacy, not paydays. Reflecting on his journey, he recalled the criticism from earlier days. When I was with Top Rank, people used to say I was broke or washed up. But the truth is, I was earning good money. The difference is, I don't box because I have to. I do it because I love it.
A moment following a once-in-a-lifetime fight.
42-0, waving to the crowd, pumping his fists like he does so well.
And a kid on his lap, I love it. Guys, I'm having a hard time hearing you, but it's hard to hear anything because it is loud. The city of Omaha is out. Bud Crawford making his way to the Heartland of America Park.
Good. My opinion is I like who I like. You know, I like Roy Jones, Floyd Mayweather, Pernell Whitaker.
What do you think?
I'm liking Sugar Ray Leonard. I've been watching a little bit of Sugar Ray Leonard and James Toney. So they my top guys that I've been watching. You know?
Fair enough. Last question on the topic. Is that a fight, because people want to know, is that a fight that you still are interested in? Or you moved on? You moved on from wanting to fight Crawford. Is this still a fight that you have interest in?
My main focus right now is October 11th. That's all I'm worried about. October 11th. I ain't worried about no outsiders. You know, I like that. That's how.
100 years from now, people will still remember that kid from Omaha, Nebraska, Bud Crawford, he said. They'll say he went up not just 2 but 3 divisions and beat Canelo Alvarez, and he did it with conviction. Long after I'm gone, my name will still be talked about. That's what legacy really means. That wraps up today's breakdown. Thanks for watching, and make sure to stay connected for more updates. Until next time.